Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙖𝙩𝙤. This is a continuing conversation with Ramesh R B, the coach of Praggnanandhaa, and we're going to have some fun stuff talking about what it takes to prepare a champion. He himself is a champion. He is a grandmaster. He gave up all that because he felt that he was very good at coaching, and look at the results he's producing. Amazing is the only word I can say to describe it. So first off, congratulations for the work that you've done. But we've only had one Praggnanandhaa. We are looking for more from you.
Yes.
And we are giving you a stiff target here. At the same time, I wanted to share some of the more technical, fun aspects about chess. So, Rameshji, I'm sorry, I'm not even giving you a chance to respond. I just want to set the stage.
Yeah.
You know, my interest about chess came in the 1972 World Championship between Fischer and Spassky. And that time, you know, this is the Cold War as it is at its height.
Yeah.
And Bobby Fischer was an eccentric character. He would come and, you know, he would weigh the coins and he'd say, no, I don't want this set, I want different set. And then he'll say, oh, I don't want that person sitting in the room.
Yeah.
He's a spy.
Yeah.
He's playing mind games with me. Take him away.
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But the thing there, one of the games that Bobby Fischer won is like on a simple way. You would wonder, how did Spassky miss this thing? So talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, this is how do you prepare for a tournament? What is a mind space? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so mentioned rightly, like at the time, the peak of Cold War between US and the Soviet Union. So Fischer from US is a young kid. He learned Russian language because all the chess literature were in Russian language back then. So he wanted to learn the game from the Russians. So he learned Russian language, bought the books from Russia, learned the game, and mastered them, and he went to Russia and started beating the Russians in their own game, so to say. So this was creating a lot of wave, and then he qualified to play in the World Championship match in 72 against Boris Spassky, and the match happened in Iceland.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, he used to weigh the coins, and as you mentioned, he also he felt some audience were kept specifically at a special seat so they can hypnotize him. So he seriously believed that the Russians wanted to hypnotize him during the game and take his mind concentration away from the game. And he is also very specific about his chair. I don't know what he was worried about. So he had many perception issues. And I also read he took a map and then drew a circle around his hotel and said 5-kilometer radius, my mother should not come. If she comes, I will not compete in the tournament. So he had many crazy ideas. Apart from that, as a player, he was simply amazing.
Yes.
He introduced professional chess for the first time, and for every photograph and autograph, he used to charge money.
I see.
So I am worth something, and you better pay for what I'm giving. So he brought professionalism. He brought the concept of appearance fee. Nowadays, when a strong player competes in a tournament, they are paid a fee in advance to compete. And to master the game, now we have technology. We have the computer, internet. So access to information is there for everyone. But it is also kind of backfiring, I should say, because the children, they are bombarded with too much information.
Yes.
And they are not mature enough to process the right information from the abundant information. So that's a challenge, and that's where I believe good trainers can play.
Wonderful. In fact, you segued me into the next question. See, children get passionate about chess because, when I am not a serious chess player, but I've played a little bit of chess. And what used to happen is, first time you lose badly with somebody, then you say, no, it's my mistake. I think I should do better. So you challenge.
Yeah.
And so before 3 or 4 games in the same day, and then one of us says, my head is really hot, I have to stop now. And then you go back and come. So there is the fun aspect. So you are talking to friends, you're playing with friends. Now, if you want to start getting serious about it, then the clock comes into play. So as a coach, when do you introduce this clock system, the discipline that you need to, be within this thing, and what would you do, and what? Let's stop there. I'll ask you another question after that.
Yeah. So basically, if I understand the question correctly, there is a time restriction given while playing a game.
Yes.
So they have a chess clock where there are 2 timers, and whenever one player is thinking, his side of the clock is running and recording the time. So the time, they give a particular amount of time, and usually in these days we have typically 1.5 hours for the game. And for every move we make, we gain 30 seconds. So 30-second increment we call it. But basically it's a 90-minute game. If we play 40 moves, we get 20 minutes added to the game. So that's how it is. So typically, when two players play, around 4 hours it takes to finish
one
the game.
game.
One game. Yeah, that's the average. And we have to teach the time management during the training, because there are some kids who like to play very quickly.
Yes.
So for example, 𝙤𝙗𝙗, he was called lightning kid.
Correct.
Because
Exactly.
he plays,
I was coming to that. Yeah.
he was playing extremely fast. And there's a perception among many parents and coaches, like if a child is playing too fast, and when someone is playing fast, they are relying on their intuition.
Yes.
They are not going deep into the analysis, but they are just taking decisions based on their feeling and intuition. And it is generally considered to be a bad thing, because we need to slow down. You need to improve your concentration, to analyze deeply about the consequences before you take a decision. But this should come, I believe, at a later part. We should not try to tamper the nature, human nature. So whatever an individual feels comfortable, initially we should give him the space to evolve on their own. And then during the training, we can explain the advantages of slowing down. And we can pose them difficult challenges, and when they take an intuitive decision, it backfires, we can say like, okay, now try to take more time, and then when they find the answer after thinking more time, then we can explain. So there are some situations where you need to go deep and go beyond the obvious.
I see.
Yeah.
So, little technical. I don't know too much, but I know things like Caro-Can defense and King's Gambit and so on and so forth. Now, as a player, you've come to a certain level where you are able to, read the play. Normally, people playing white are supposed to have an advantage.
Yes.
Why?
It's like in tennis, the one who serves has an advantage, because he can just serve an ace. And if he serves too well and at the right angle,
you can
at the
just
right
ace your
pace,
game.
Yes. So it happens at least a few points you can easily
yes.
collect without giving any opportunity to your opponent. So similarly, like when you play the first move with white pieces, because they play the first move, they are like slightly ahead. They start dictating the terms. So that gives a very small advantage.
But let me ask you from the other side. See, I'm a good player. I'm on the black. Now, from your move, I know what your defense or your position is, isn't it?
So that's why black also has a chance. Like he cannot totally drive the game in a particular direction. I also have a say in how things will develop. So black also has a wide variety of choices. After every white first move, I will have like 5-6 good options, and it's very difficult for the opponent to guess where I'm going. So there is millions of permutation and combination is possible.
Yes.
So having a good memory also plays a good part.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So how I see chess is like it's a battle of how we have many good qualities within ourselves, and we also have many bad qualities within ourselves.
Yes.
So using chess, we try to nurture the good qualities in ourselves. Like for example, if I have a feeble concentration, through chess I can learn to get my concentration in shape.
Yes.
And I can learn how to keep the concentration under adverse circumstances.
Of course, yeah.
Because it's very easy to get emotional and start reacting when things are not going our way. So how we keep the balance and keep the concentration, and under pressure, how we are able to analyze objectively and take practical decisions. And these are the things that's really interesting to me.
Growing up, I had an older person who used to get very emotionally involved when he lost the game. He just smashed the whole thing. I would then, after a couple of times, I said, if you're going to do that, I'm not playing with you.
It's a very common sight in many tournaments. People really don't take it well when they lose.
Right. So when you are falling behind clockwise, because you're taking more time to the move, what is the penalty that the player faces?
No, usually like they give a time limit. For example, like in the first 90 minutes they give us, we have to make 40 moves or 35 moves.
Right.
So they give a limit, they announce the limit beforehand. So typically it is 40 minutes in 2 hours, something like this. So if we fail to make the 40 moves, if we make only 39 moves, let's say, or less, it's like we have lose the game immediately.
I see.
So we have to meet the expectation within the stipulated time.
So delay happens because the player is unable to read the other person's moves, or
no, usually what happens is like when you see a chess player thinking, like when we see in YouTube channel or wherever, we see like they're keeping the hands over the head and they're just staring at the board, and we use general perception is like they're actually straining their brain, doing a lot of permutation and combination, they're analyzing a lot of stuff. But as a player, I've seen that it's not the case always. So most of the time, there is an internal battle going on within ourselves. And what has happened in the previous game? If I had lost the previous game, then always that will be having a negative impact.
How did I end up losing
that
one?
And more importantly, like I don't want to lose again today. So when we start trying to think in terms of not to lose, then we cannot bring out all our positive qualities.
Of course.
Then we become very defensive, passive in our approach, and so on. So how we handle our emotions, and this is really important. Like usually what I see is like all these factors, the psychological issues are not being given the importance they deserve in Western training. And that's what I have noticed. So I try to explain to my students the need to keep your emotions under check. And I always tell them, like, the Bhagavad Gita, they have clearly given us the guidance. Just focus on doing your duty and not worry too much about the consequences. And when I was young, I did not really understand what's the point if I'm not ambitious, or if there is results don't matter so much, then what's the point in putting an effort? So it did not make any sense to me. But as I grew up, the more I thought, I understood like it's my own emotions, my own self-doubts, and my concentration inability to control my concentration. They are having a negative impact on the outcome. So I understood it's really important to segregate this two. One is our effort, and to put a very good effort, we need to keep a very good concentration, and for that we need to delink it from the consequences. So it's amazing, like how our ancestors have really found the solution for the problems we face in our day-to-day life.
Absolutely. I had one mentor who was very good at chess, and as the game progresses, he will tell me at one point in the game, it says, I will checkmate you in 4 moves. And basically he said, it doesn't matter which coin you move, I will checkmate you in 4 moves. So when you're training the kids, do you use something like this sharp tactics kind of thing to say?
No. I think it's better to not influence the children. Chess is a tough game, so it's not going to be very easy.
When I was doing this, I was already in 20, so it wasn't like, I was a kid. No, I wasn't going to get traumatized.
It's not about the age basically. It's like how well we know about the game.
Right.
Our knowledge about the game. So when we don't have much information, then it's very easy to fall for these cheap tricks.
Correct.
But if someone knows what he's doing, it's impossible to make. Even in like below 20 moves, it's almost impossible.
Right.
So it's always my approach is to explain to the young children that it's a wonderful game, and it is a learnable game. That is also very important for the children to know. They should not think like some aspects that don't come easily to me, I can never master them. So that's how many children get held up. So some things easily come to them, some things they have to learn the hard way. And when that is not explained to them, they will simply think like I'm not good at it. So but if we explain to them when they are young that if you put more effort, you can master even the difficult things, that gives them a lot of hope. And it kinds of it's very challenging for the young mind, so they love challenges. So if we tell them like this is very challenging and you're capable of doing it, they usually break the barrier and do it.
Wonderful. Chess is encouraged a lot, especially in the Bay Area. Many schools, especially from 5th grade onwards, they have a chess club. And the school finishes, then they take 1 hour, they play 2 or 3 games. And then because there are so many schools here playing amongst themselves, the chess Olympiads here are very seriously taken. Many kids are there. I still don't see them go to the top level. Maybe it is because here what happens is from the time the child turns 3 or 4, the parents have the child's time mapped out. From this sleep, what they're going to do.
It's very natural. So we also teach students online from India. So we have like 60 coaches under our academy. They're training many students from all over the world. So we have more than like 1,000 students learning from us online.
Wonderful.
So we have many students in the Bay Area as well. So I can understand.
Great. Because doing online takes away that commute time. Like you said about the case of Praggnanandhaa and his sister, my goodness, 1 hour one way, oof, that's a huge toll on time.
In Prag's case, like his dedication is amazing. Like I remember an incident when he was 10 years old. So in chess we have 2 titles, International Master and GrandMaster. and he was not yet an international master at the time. So international master is like, let's say, post graduation, and grandmaster is like doctors, something like this. And he had 2 international master norms. So if he makes the 3rd norm, he'll become world's youngest international master, and he was 10 years old at the time. So we had a training camp, and he was supposed to play in a tournament in France. And in the training camp, he did extremely well. And I was telling him, like, you should not be playing for international master norm. You can actually make a grandmaster norm. Something like this, I said. And he immediately asked, as a 10-year-old, I didn't expect. He said, like, you have been teaching me not to play for results, and now you want me to make a GM norm. What should I do? So I was really happy. Like, at such a young age, he has internalized that you should not be worrying about the results. So, and now I see, like, when he loses games, he is one of the fastest in the world, I would say, to recover. So for almost everyone I come across, it takes a lot of effort for them to recover from a loss. They take it very personally, and they start doubting themselves or judging themselves. In Prag's case, it's like after a few minutes, he'll say, okay, let's move on.
Wow. Amazing. Ramesh, this has been a revelation for me. I wish I had you as my coach, because I don't think I really fully realized my potential. I'll tell you why. I didn't even play time chess. When we were playing, we were just playing, have fun kind of thing. But the thing about what you said, when I lose, right, I knew exactly where I made a mistake. And I would think, why did I could easily see the boards. Why did I make this mistake? I wouldn't sweat about it too much, but at least I knew that I was making a mistake at a certain point. But I wasn't like so disciplined that I would do the same thing and again in another game. Remember, I made that mistake, not to do it again. All that was not there. It was just fun. That was it. But this was a wonderful conversation, and I would like you to create more Praggnanandhas, and both men, girls, boys. These days, chess is one of those things, doesn't require a lot of space. You can probably do it even in your cell phone or play online. And this is a great improvement. The technology has really come to a point where you can do that. But at the end of the day, we go back to our Shastras, the Bhagavad Gita, right? Just do your duty, and the results will take care of itself. Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪